defense, your linebackers dealing with the rest of the defense?
It's been good so far. I think we have a nice blend of guys that we brought in and some guys that have been here. A few guys that had a couple position changes, but so far it's just been a learning curve for all of us. I think whether it's from practice perspective or understanding the defense, and then just kind of getting to know each other, how I coach, how they practice, what the expectation levels are. And so far, I think it's been really good. I feel like we're probably a day behind the offense. So things that we're seeing today will get corrected, and hopefully when we come back out, the goal is on Thursday. We don't make those same mistakes.
What has that correction process been like? How are the guys adjusting, stuff like that?
It's been really good. I think they've bought into to coming back and really investing and learning the defense, and it's been critical that they do that outside of normal practice hours and meeting time, just putting in the extra work, because this is one of the only times where we're really not getting ready for a game. So it's nice for them to be able to come back, watch extra film, get extra time with myself and some of the older guys. And, we're fortunate in our room because Timmy Heinz-Peter was in the system already, so he's almost like a coach on the field. And then, you had Dean Schaefer, who's another guy that is a really, really intelligent football player, and it's kind of like myself, them too, and Coach Fire, really working with the guys as they come back in. But they're doing a good job. They're investing time.
Well, Tyler Martin was similar his experience with Brett too in here.
Yeah, I've been really happy with Tyler. He's physically, he's somebody that has all the tools. I think it's just him trusting that he has the ability to go out there and he can be a physical presence in this conference. And, my job is to get him to believe in his skill set, and just, we're gonna need him, and he's somebody that we're gonna rely on. And I'm really happy with his progress so far. And he's done a really good job too, preparation, getting himself ready and coming out here. And from the UMass perspective, taking the new guys and myself included along and teaching us, kind of who these guys are and who he is. And it's been really good. I'm really happy with his progress. He's put some really good stuff on film.
You mentioned Timmy. How helpful is as a coach for have that extra kind of set of eyes?
It's been great. Yeah, it's been great. I think there's times like I was here when he came on his recruiting visit, and I got to spend some one-on-one time with him and really get to know him, and pretty much just told him, hey, listen, like, you've been in this system. It's new to me, although some of the things that I had done in New Hampshire were similar. It's new terminology, it's new adjustments, it's new ways to fit things up under the same umbrella, and I use him as a resource a lot. Asking him questions, and if I don't know what, hey, Timmy, what are we doing here? Or what do you see here? Or what was something that you guys have done in the past? So he's been great. And he's really, really intelligent football player. So, we're happy to have him.
Is there something different between this spring camp and others you've been around throughout there?
Yeah, this is the first time in 11 years that I'm learning something new. When I got to UNH in 2014 in the spring, my first day there was spring ball. So, that was transitioning from Bentley to UNH, but then since then I've kind of worked under the same system for the last 11 years. So I feel like a kid again. That's why it's been good kind of going through this process, because I'm learning too. So every time I learn something, I'm teaching them, they're helping me. Then we put it on film. We review it, and then we rinse, wash, and repeat it all over again. So I feel like, I'm back to being a player again, almost, and learning, and it's been good. It's been exciting. I'm happy.
What's your favorite part of Amherst, like, besides the fit, though?
I'd say the food. The food's good. Yeah, Mission Cantina is probably up there for me. Garcia's is good too, Amherst Public House. So I'd say the food. The one thing being at UNH, that you'd think, like, I went to University of Maine, so I have experience there as a player, UNH as a coach, and then here, it's so much bigger. It's 3 times the size of both of the campuses I spent the majority of my life on. So there's a lot more options here. And, I'd say the food is probably the best part.
And back to the football, the adjustment process, so many new coaches. How's it been like that for you and all the other coaches?
It's been good on defense. I hired Coach Wortman when I was at UNH, so I worked with him for 2 seasons. So he was somebody that I'm familiar with, and I had met Donald on a couple visits when I went out to go see Coach Harasimiak in Minnesota. I competed against Jared and hung out with Jared, when he was in the CAA. And so those relationships I had already fostered. So it was people that I was familiar with. I hadn't really coached with all of them, And then Coach Whitaker as well. You know, I competed against him. He's somebody that I tried to hire from Rutgers last season. And so, you know, familiarity, and I think we all kind of have the same beliefs and the same beliefs in the systems that we're running, and we're all kind of under the same umbrella. So it's been a really good transition. So I love our defensive staff. I really think we're a cohesive group that all get along. You know, we hang out outside of football, so it's been a really good transition for me.
Coach, who have you noticed kind of step up as a leader among men in the linebacking position? Sort of, you know, also, let me ask.
Yeah.
Who has stepped up as a leader among men, among the linebackers, and also how important is that in the linebacker position, have a sort of that leader quality that is?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think from the returning guys, probably Tyler would be the one that had the most experience, and you know, from a leadership perspective, and then bringing in Dean and bringing in Timmy, I would say, you know, those three have really taken the reins in the linebacker room in terms of leadership, and yeah, it's been great. You know, it started when we were working out in here, just doing our winter conditioning stuff, and it's transitioned over into the field. And, you know, I think the more experience you have in the system, the more stuff you're able to put on film, then the more ability that you have to lead. But you got to learn it first. You got to go out and do it first. And so it's been, yeah, I'd say those three are probably taking the reins. And then really happy with some of the younger guys' progress, too. I think Rashad Henry's done a great job. And, you know, Nick Hawthorne, every day he gets to play linebackers his first run at it. He's somebody that's really developing and same thing with Donovan Dyson. So I think the more we put on film, the more reps we get, the better we're going to end up being.
Well, Darren Craig, what was he brought to? Was it good to?
Yeah, Mayut's great. You know, Mayut's got he's a really good football player. He's an intelligent kid. You know, he makes plays. He just shows up on film. So you know, he's working kind of in that star role, and then we pick him up in the linebacker room in some of our sub packages. But he's another one just really invested in the process, really wants to be good, wants to get on the field, wants to do the right thing. So he's investing his time and energy, and you know, it showed up on Saturday, and I think it's showing up. You know, the more he's in this system, he's going to be a really good football player for us moving forward. So excited for him.